Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Park City is celebrating many anniversaries, but none more special than the 40th anniversary of Park City Magazine, the publication that really dictates what it's like to live here in Park City and gives all of the people visiting our special mountain town a little sneak peek to what it's like to call this place home. I am sitting down with Melissa Fields, the editor of Park City Magazine. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for that great intro.
Of course. Now this is the 40th. I can't believe this has been around for 40 years, and congratulations on an amazing issue. I got to flip through it before we came on. There are so many fun pieces of history in this.
Thanks.
How did you even begin to start to put this together when you heard, okay, it's the 40th anniversary issue?
So, I mean, obviously we knew it was coming, and so I, wanted to really, mark the anniversary in a way other than like, okay, this is the 40th anniversary of the magazine, because when it was the magazine's 30th anniversary, there was a big feature story about the history of the magazine, and I'm like, okay, we need to tell a different story, and so I thought, well, let's call out 40 people who've helped shape Park City, and this is by no means an all-inclusive list.
No, we are not.
Yeah, this is not limited to 40, but it fit neatly within celebrating our anniversary. And then
Melissa's put a little asterisk. Do not feel like you've been.
yeah. There's many more people than 40.
But what a creative way to tell the history of the town through the voices that help to shape the community.
Exactly. I mean, it really, and like we were saying a second ago, it really kind of, as the stories started coming in, because we normally run a feature within the magazine called Summit Stories, which is a profile of 3 people who are living the mountain town dream and who have, made a life here in Park City. And we decided to blow that out to 40 people. And then as it was taking shape, it really, is telling the story of how things in town have come to be. I mean, things like the free bus system.
That's true. And people that have lived here for, I've been here, 10 or 11 years, but the free bus system was just here.
Exactly.
The town lift just came in to Main Street. Like, the background of how all of, not just the infrastructure, but just some of the philosophies of the town, like we're going to have free public transit. We're going to have this level of service. The people that actually, the voices behind that and the people who made those decisions, it's so interesting to see, and most of them are still in the community.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And for example, I mean, a big part of Park City's persona, I think, is the historic flavor, and that didn't, preserving that and actually highlighting it didn't happen by accident.
No. And
so, through these profiles, it tells the story of, a lot of people who moved here or who were living here, who grew up here and were here in the 1970s. Really, there wasn't. The city government didn't have a ton of money, and there weren't like one person that I interviewed said there was really not a lot of people to say no, so we just did what we wanted. So
it's true.
Yeah,
now not anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that you included Jan Peterson, Bob Wells, Stein Erikson, and sort of those faces that were such an influential role, but that we have lost in the past few years.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I don't know that you could do a roundup. I mean, Craig Badami, Nick Badami, without calling those people out who played such a significant role. But there's plenty of people that in that list who are still alive.
Jack Johnson, Jill Johnson's dad. I love it. You refer to him in the town that Jack built.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and he, when I initially talked to him about this piece, he was saying, at one point, 9 of the 10 projects in front of the Planning Commission were all his. So it'd just be, next, and then just going down the list.
Can you imagine basically building the town and deciding where everything will be? And then, I mean, he still lives here. To drive around and look at it now must be absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and maybe, he didn't even picture that it would all, come to fruition the way that it has.
Yeah. And so what else, aside from the 40 people, which I have to tell you is worth just in itself,
Thanks.
What other are some of the highlight segments that you want to talk about?
So, deferred my notes.
Get your notes,
so
you're an editor.
The front of the magazine, is called the Word About Town section, and that is kind of a more newsy, more Park City culture kind of section. So there's, stories about a David Leventhal exhibit that's coming to Julie Nestor Gallery. There's a little piece about Whisper Ridge, which is a new backcountry ski resort up in northern Utah, near the Ogden area.
Near the Ogden area.
Yep. There is Catherine Heigl, the actress. She has started an animal rescue in Oakley.
That's right over at her ranch in Oakley.
Yeah, the Badlands Firelands Ranch, I think is what she calls it. There's a little story about the backstory on the art at the new transit center at Kimball Junction, which is super interesting. And then Renan Ozturk, who is one of the climbers who was in the documentary Meru. He lives here in Park City, and Jill Orschel, who's a local freelance writer, and actually she's a cinematographer as well. She did a Q&A interview with him, which turned out great. And then our other departments, we always highlight history because it's obviously such a big part of the town. And that's our local lore section. There is a piece about White Pine Canyon, which is where the colony, I mean, most notably the colony.
The colony,
Yeah, and so it's kind of, that used to be Park City's, you know, it was like its hidden gem. Nobody knew about it, and now it's
we know.
It's this, yeah, exactly. It's the center of the largest ski resort in the United States, and there's a story about which is a huge deal, the cross-country Nordic Championships that are coming next month.
Yes, we're thrilled to have them here in Park City.
First time in a generation in the U.S. We also have a story, like we do also like a regional travel piece, and there's a story about the Ruby Mountain helicopter skiing, which is the only helicopter skiing outfit in Nevada and out in the Ruby Mountains. And then we have a profile of Eric and Sarah Silvic, and they are the couple who started Terra Nova, and they are responsible for most of the recreational zip lines across the United States. And they're actually also, you know, in addition to recreation, they're one of their latest project is working with NASA for an escape system. Like if something went wrong on a launch pad, then those people work. I know, can just get down and zip line. Yeah.
And then you also have a cool piece when you look at the interiors. I always say it looks like in a little architectural digest insert, but of some renovations of people that have done work here in Park City, and we get to take a sneak peek of their home.
Yeah, the home. So that's our Department of the Interior section. It's like a shelter section that's in every magazine, and the feature is Dave and Melissa Berry's home, and Melissa owns Rooted on Main Street, and the home is, Dave is, I think, 4th generation Parkite, and so the house was his grandparents, and so they've been living there since they were married, and now they have a baby, and they spent 11 months putting on an addition and remodeling it.
And I have to say, I looked through it and I saw the renovations, and to think that this is the original grandfather's home, you would never know. I mean, a gorgeous interior design. So that's exciting. And I also want to mention that Park City Magazine has gone digital.
Exactly.
You have daily content, so it's Park City Mag.
ParkCityMag.com.
ParkCityMag.com.
Yeah.
And while we were speaking, I know that some of the viewers could see we were running their website on screen, and daily content, so you can get a little fresh taste of Park City every day. So congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's our opportunity. I mean, there's so many stories to tell and so much to do here, both for locals and visitors. And yeah, since relaunching the website in June, it's been a great opportunity to, give people more of that information than, twice a year when the magazine
Twice a year with the magazine. Well, I promise you, this is going to be worth picking up and flipping through for locals, for visitors alike. Congratulations on 40 years of Park City Magazine. Melissa Fields, the editor. We are going to take a quick break here on the Mountain Morning Show and be back with our second live hour right after this.